Hello and welcome! Now, you may think that computers have only been around for a short time, but they have actually been around for quite a while. And we're going to take a look at them back in the 60s with the computer wore tennis shoes.
The computer wore tennis shoes and a twinkle in his eye. Never met a groovier dude, an electric kind of guy.
The computer wore tennis shoes was released in 1969, and it stars Kurt Russell, who we've talked about many times before. And this is actually my first time seeing him in a film where he's young. I'm so used to him older compared to this baby face. And this is actually a part of a series featuring Dexter Riley's character, so this was the first one. We also have Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and The Strongest Man in the World. So those are two other films that were after. They were sequels, but I feel like they're still like extended sitcoms. And this one's exactly the same. I feel like it's an extended sitcom where you have a very small problem scenario-wise, and they just focus on a lot of hijinks and comedy. So we start out that we're at college, and the dean's reading off a list of names that are on academic probation.
Robert Ross, Sliver Roth. Sliver? A man with a name like that has no business in a college. Arnold Sandy, Stanley Tyler.
He missed me. You went through all the S's.
Hey, that's right.
Nice going. What about Skyler?
Hmm? Oh, yes, of course. Richard Schuyler. Put him on there. Richard.
Most of the students listening in are a part of that list, so they decide to think of a plan to donate a computer to try to ease the dean into a good mood. Dexter knows a person that has a computer that is selling it for $10,000, but instead is able to convince him to give it to the college for free instead of donating the $20,000 that he normally does per year. After they set up this gigantic computer, because this is how computers were back then, now we have this is a computer instead.
This is a rain gauge, and it's sitting on the roof of the building. And when the water falls into this gauge, it sends a signal to the logic unit of the computer, which immediately notifies the memory bank of the computer to seek out its instructions for a rainy day.
It turns out that Dexter ends up getting shocked by the computer, and then he turns into the computer himself. He has all the capacity and can understand everything in the world, just like that. He's Kyle XY.
And that was an hour-long test. How long did it take him? 5 minutes? And he got them all right.
Of course, this happens gradually, where he keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter. He starts out by being super unrealistic, being able to drive and take notes at the same time in the car.
We never have 3 A's in a row. It's got to be B or C. I haven't seen a C for a long time. It's got to be C then. Got to be C. A. That's 3 A's in a row. That's impossible. How do they ever expect anybody to figure this out?
I know it's comedy, but this stuff annoys me because I'm just like, you cannot happen. I understand people can get smarter at times. It's been scientific studies. If people knock their heads or something, they trigger something else in the brain, so I can understand that. A lot more realistic than you not crashing into anything while you're driving and taking notes. It's also interesting looking back at these films because Disney was a lot more edgy than it is today. They have girls in bikinis. They have Kurt Russell making out with 2 girls.
Well, now, Mr. Riley's being greeted by 2 young ladies who came all the way from Yonkers just to greet him. This is Priscilla Cummings, Queen of the Yonkers Botanical Society.
They have Playboy jokes. Like, I was shocked because for me, this is not a big deal. But again, I'm gonna keep saying this, the image that Disney portrays itself today and being super duper family friendly, like, what happened? I actually don't mind this. This is hilarious. Like, it wasn't that funny in the movie, it wasn't that great, but the fact that they had a lot more freedom to do jokes and it was a lot more just freeing of a time, it makes it really interesting to look back at. Because Dexter is so smart, he is a part of a decathlon, and they end up going against all these different schools and continuing to win until they get to a question that involves Applejack.
Applejack. That's absolutely right. Applejack.
Applejack, Chisholm City Social Club, 137 Feb 29, Animal 740, Table 6.
Hey, boss, I had nothing to do with this, I swear.
500. Apple.
As an answer. And Applejack is the word that triggers him back to losing the computer's capability and power. It's like the Winter Soldier, where you just start saying all these words and that triggers something. Except it's reversed. So once they start saying all these words, he just turns into the stupid person again. And everything's resolved, everything's back to normal, they sort out more hijinks, and then they all carry onward. So, like I said, extended sitcom. I mean, Kurt Russell's a decent actor. Everyone seemed fine. It just wasn't anything great. It was okay to watch one time. But if you are interested in this, then definitely check it out. And tomorrow we're going to take a look at the Boatniks, so you can stay tuned. And as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.